Now we'll go to security, zones / inputs. This opens a window which shows you the settings of the programming of up to 64 inputs or zones on Comfort. You can select a zone here and look at the properties or the settings on the right pane. This shows you the zone number 1, the name of the zone, which is front door, which is just a label. Zone type is selected from one of 31 zone types. These zone types are basically contain the characteristics of the type of zone which you want to use to assign to the zone. And then each zone you can assign up to 4 words from the word list. In this case, front door, and up to 4 words, but in our case the 3rd and 4th words are not used. Now this entry path is checked if you have if it's on the entry path. That means that if you have to pass through this zone on the way out of the house or into the house. It is also known as a follower zone. Restore is basically a setting which you use for CMS or central station monitoring reporting. You can leave it unchecked. The on response and off response are very useful features. Basically, an on response, a response is a little program that is activated caused by an event. So on response is a response which is triggered or activated when the zone is open. For example, when the door is open. The off response is a program which is activated, or response which is activated when the zone is closed. For example, closing the door. So for example, you can select from a list of responses, like you can put in output 1 on when the zone is open, and off response we can put output 1, assign output 1 off response. So in this case, when the front door is open, it will turn on output 1. When the front door is closed, it will turn off output 1. Look at the next, zone 2. You will see a similar thing. This name is a kitchen window. Zone type is door window, which means that it's not an entry door, but it's magnetic contact which is on a door or window in the house. The words that we use are kitchen window, and it's not an entry path. We don't use any responses. Let's add another zone. Let's add it to zone 7. In this case, we'll call it hall movement. That's the name. And the zone type, we can select hall movement is a motion detector. So I'm going to select a zone type called PIR night and away. This means that the PIR, or the passive infrared motion detector, is active during night modes and away mode. Zone word, you can pick hall. You can see the hall is already selected. Oops. Hall movement. And it's an entry path zone, and we won't do any on response and off response for the time being. Let's add another zone as zone 8. Let's say a back door. Zone type, we'll make it another entry door, because you can leave or enter the house through the back door. So the words, again, I'll put back door. And it's an entry path. Now note that entry path and entry door are two different things. It can be an entry door, and it can also be an entry path. Okay, now we can do a transfer and selective write, so that we want just to write the zone and input screen into Configurator, into Comfort, without having to write the whole lot. So you can see it's quite fast. And at the end, in this case, it will reset the system. Let's say security off. To test our zone programming, what you can do what we call the security check. And we do this by going to the keypad and pressing F3.
Press 1 for battery
2 for security check. So in security check mode, any zones which are triggered, that means opened, will be announced on the keypad according to the zone words that you have programmed. So I'm going to open zone 7, hall movement. Now I'm going to open zone 8, which is the back door.
Back door.
Okay, so the security check tells you that you have programmed your zones and the words correctly. To end the security check, press F on your keypad.
Thank you.
It
Goodbye.
says, thank you, goodbye.